The NFL is a brutal business, a machine that chews up talent and spits it out. And this week, that reality came crashing down in Cleveland in a way no one could have scripted. Just days before the Browns finalized their 53-man roster, the bombshell dropped. Adam Schefter reported that rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders, the same Shedeur Sanders who had been under a microscope from the second his name was called on draft night, is being released. Not traded, not shifted up the depth chart, not hidden as an emergency QB, flat out released. And yet the twist is almost cruel in its design. The Browns fully intend to bring him back, but only on the practice squad. To some, it's a clever roster strategy. To others, it's humiliation wrapped in paperwork. For Shedeur himself, it's a moment that could define his entire NFL journey. This isn't just a football transaction. It's a storyline that has the entire league buzzing. A saga that has ignited fans, split a locker room, and put Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry directly under the microscope. Because this isn't about one rookie quarterback, it's about identity, politics, and how far a franchise is willing to go to protect its own decisions. From the second Shedeur slipped that Browns cap onto his head, the spotlight wasn't forgiving. Drafted in the 5th round, skeptics instantly framed him as more name than game. A player chosen not for production, but for pedigree. The son of Shedeur Sanders, a marketing tool dressed up as a developmental project. Analysts didn't even wait for him to take a snap before calling him a long shot. But those same critics underestimated the storm he brought with him. At Colorado, Shedeur showed he wasn't just Deion's son. He was a quarterback who could command an offense, take hits, and still deliver fire. When he arrived in Cleveland, he carried that same swagger. Yet the Browns had other plans. Stefanski made it clear early, Sanders wasn't competing for QB1, not even QB2. He was buried behind veterans, labeled QB3, and told to wait his turn. For most rookies, that's expected. For Shedeur, it felt like a public dismissal. And then came the preseason, where every snap was a referendum on his worth. Against the Rams, the world saw it unfold in real time. The nerves were there at first, the shaky footwork, the rushed decisions, the flashes of a rookie swimming in NFL waters. But then, like a switch flipping, he steadied. The highlight came when the pocket collapsed, Rams defenders closing fast, and Shedeur rolled right, eyes downfield, and fired a laser between two defenders. The ball threaded perfectly into his receiver's chest, igniting the sideline and electrifying the fans who had been waiting for a reason to believe. That single play encapsulated why so many think Cleveland is making a catastrophic mistake. It wasn't just talent, it was poise. It was the kind of throw that makes teammates buy in, that makes coaches pause, that makes fans scream at their television screens. Yet within hours of that very performance, the news broke. The Browns were cutting him. Imagine that. Delivering your most promising moments in an NFL uniform one night, then being told the next morning that you're being dumped onto the waiver wire. The fallout was instant and vicious. Browns fans flooded social media with outrage. "You don't cut Shedeur after that game," one fan tweeted. "Practice squad? This isn't Madden," another blasted. Cleveland has always been a franchise with fragile fan unity, and instead of strengthening the bond, this move split the fan base in two. Inside the locker room, the reaction wasn't any softer. Players who had been catching passes from Sanders in practice, who'd felt the timing and accuracy, quietly admitted to reporters that they preferred his throws. Receivers talked about the touch he had, the way the ball arrived where it needed to be. Even veteran players, typically slow to give rookies respect, admitted they were caught off guard by the decision. They didn't see dead weight, they saw potential being ignored. For them, this wasn't a football move. This was politics. Stefanski, of course, downplayed everything. In his post-game comments, he hid behind the usual cliches. Decisions in the best interest of the team. Focus on the season ahead. Blah, blah, blah. But anyone watching could see the truth written all over his body language. He knew this decision was going to explode in his face. And explode it did. National media circled like sharks. Debate shows lit up the airwaves with one burning question. Did the Browns just sabotage their own rookie quarterback? Some voices claimed it was savvy roster manipulation, an attempt to sneak Sanders onto the practice squad without losing him. Others weren't so kind, framing it as confirmation that Cleveland never believed in him from the start. Colin Cowherd declared the move evidence that the league only saw Shedeur as a famous last name. When the news broke that Shedeur Sanders was being cut by the Cleveland Browns, many assumed it was simply the cold math of roster management. But as the dust settles, the truth looks far more complicated, far more political, and far more dangerous for a franchise that cannot afford another quarterback controversy. Because this move isn't just about Shedeur, it's about the Browns' future, their credibility, and whether Kevin Stefanski can hold together a locker room that now feels cracks spreading across its foundation. Think about the timing. Just hours after Sanders delivered his most impressive preseason flashes, he was effectively told those plays didn't matter. He was told his poise under pressure, his laser throw on the run, his refusal to fold, all meaningless. How does that message sit with veterans watching from the sideline? How do rookies, who see one of their own rise to the occasion only to be shoved aside, process that? This isn't just roster math, it's morale shattering. And the locker room knows it. Already whispers are leaking out. Receivers openly say they prefer catching from Sanders because of his touch. Defenders admit he makes them sharper in practice. These aren't throwaway comments. They're evidence of belief. Evidence that Shedeur has already earned respect in a place where rookies usually drown. And what does the front office do with that respect? They bury it. That's why fans are in open revolt. Social media isn't just noise, it's the pulse of the fan base. And the pulse right now is anger, outrage, betrayal. This isn't a franchise blessed with stability. The Browns have been a punchline for decades. And at the first sign of a rookie quarterback who brings genuine excitement, they cut him loose and expect people to accept it? Fans aren't buying it. They see through the strategy. They see through the excuses. To them, this isn't protecting the roster. It's sabotaging hope. And hope is the most valuable currency a team can offer its city. National media knows it too. They've turned the story into a daily headline, not because Sanders is a superstar already, but because of what he represents. A son of a legend, a player with swagger, a quarterback with flashes of brilliance. It's narrative gold. And Cleveland just dumped it into the fire. Debate shows are feasting, fans are rallying, and other teams are circling like hawks. Because here's the reality. The Browns are gambling that no one else sees what they have, but everyone sees it. The Rams saw it, scouts saw it, coaches saw it, general managers across the league saw it. All it takes is one waiver claim, and Sanders is gone. And if that happens, the Browns don't just lose a quarterback, they lose face. They lose credibility. They lose faith in their own ability to evaluate. Imagine the Falcons adding Sanders behind Kirk Cousins. Imagine the Cowboys grabbing him and pairing him with Jerry Jones's love of star power. Imagine a Raiders franchise desperate for identity, making him their future. Suddenly, Sanders isn't a buried practice squad player. He's a rival weapon. And Cleveland becomes the fool who gave him away for free. Even if he clears waivers, the storm doesn't end. Because a competitor like Shedeur Sanders doesn't stay buried. He's not built for clipboard duty. He said it himself, when the lights come on, he shines. And sooner or later, those lights will come on again. Maybe Gabriel struggles. Maybe Pickett falters. Maybe the fans get loud enough that Stefanski can't ignore them. Whatever the trigger, the day will come when Sanders gets another shot. And if Cleveland mishandles that moment, if they keep him hidden while the offense stumbles, Stefanski's already fragile grip on this team could snap. That's why this story is so dangerous. It's not just about Sanders. It's about trust. Do the players trust Stefanski? Do the fans trust Barry? Does the national media trust the Browns as a serious franchise? Every bad throw from Gabriel, every interception from Pickett, every stalled drive will only amplify the calls for Shedeur. And if he's not there, if he's gone to another team, the pressure becomes unbearable. The Browns are playing with fire, and the flames are already licking at their doorstep. But here's the twist. Maybe that's exactly what Sanders needs. Maybe the humiliation of being cut, the sting of being shoved aside, is the crucible that forges his next chapter. Because Shedeur Sanders has never had it easy. From being dismissed as just Deion's son, to being told he wasn't NFL ready, he's always had to prove people wrong. And every time, he's risen. Why should this be any different? The Browns think they're burying him. What they don't realize is that pressure only creates diamonds, and Sanders is about to shine brighter than ever. Imagine the scene weeks from now. Gabriel throws 2 picks, the offense stalls, and the fans start chanting. Sanders' name echoes through the stadium. Stefanski tries to ignore it, but the locker-roo